Hi, this is Yoram, and today I'm going to show you how to create a cover to a paperback book that you are self-publishing, and more specifically on Amazon KDP. Stick with me. The first thing is Amazon KDP gives you two options to upload a cover for your book. One of them is to use their own cover designer, which is a very cool, very intuitive a tool that allows you to design your own cover from their own platform. And that makes things easier. I like to design my own covers. You can, by the way, hire people to help you design. And I'm going to start with a page on from Kindle Direct Publishing. It's an Amazon website, kdp.amazon.com. And the one that I'm starting, the page I'm on, is create a paperback cover. So there is a short video here. I'm not going to look at the video, and I'm really going to come down to this definition of what's in the cover. This is the front, this is the back. So you want to think about that from the perspective of when the cover of the book is just wide open, spread on a table. So you see the front, you see the spine, which is the only part of the book that you would see if it's in a bookshelf, and you see the back. You can put your own barcode, or you can leave room for them to put a barcode, and I typically leave room for them to put the barcode, and I just make sure that I stay out of it, and you'll see that there are specifications for that as well. Here's the front. You can ignore the recommendation. The title comes up here, subtitle here, author here, and the front cover image here. And what goes in the back, they actually don't have anything. And then title, subtitle, author. And you can design your own. You can decide what you want to do. Here's my rule of thumb how to make that decision. I take a few books in the general category of my book. I look at them and I take ideas from them. Where do you put the title? How do you attract your audience? And so on. I don't copy what they do, but I take ideas from several books and I have in my head a picture of what my book is going to look like. Again, you can hire someone to do the design. Fiverr, Fiverr, is a great source. There are other sources for designers that can design pretty inexpensively. In fact, if you go to the top, they even have a list of professional cover designers that I don't know if they work with or not, but that they would recommend. Back to the design. The size of the book, that's another thing that I look at other books and figure out what do they look like and which size do I like. So for example, to my latest book at this point, the fourth in the series, Can I Trust You? It's a mini book. It has 100 pages only, actually 99, but there's never going to be an odd number of pages because every page would have two sides, and the two sides are different page numbers. So it's 99 or 100 pages. And I found, first of all, in my 14th book, or fourth in the series, I wanted to be consistent with the other three. And the other three I've already designed at 5.25 inch wide by 8 inches tall. Okay, so we got 5.25 by 8 inches. And that, here's what the real size needs to be. First of all, you need to keep a margin. And the way to look at the margin, the real size of the book should be the line in the middle. So this is blown up, the dashed line in the middle. This is the real size. But it can go in or out. It can be not accurately cut or maybe shifted just a little. Maybe it's a little offset. And what they want to make sure is, first of all, that you leave enough room, 1/8 of an inch all around, and this is the inside line. Don't put anything there because it might get cut up to there and not exactly at the line. The other part is you need, and they call it bleed, you need to bleed your images out all the way to 1/8 of an inch bigger. You can see that it's being cut, that last 1/8 of an inch, bigger than the size of the book. And the reason for that is, once again, they may not be accurate. They may shift the image when they cut the cover, by up to 1/8 of an inch. And if that happens, you need to make sure that there is no gap here. So your image needs to go out another 1/8 of an inch. This leaves only the spine. What is the size of the spine? And that obviously depends on the number of pages, but also on the type of paper. So that's pretty much it, but they give you, and there are other instructions here, they give you an interesting way to calculate it by using their calculator. So if you click on Try Our Calculator, it's going to take you to another page, which by the way also describes the formatting in general. What are the different steps? How do you do that? How do you calculate royalties? Kind of the entire process. We're not focused on that. Right now we're focused on not the file setup calculator. I'm sorry, we are focused on the file setup calculator. They also have another calculator to calculate the cost and royalties. And in another video, I'm going to take you through that. So I'm going to click on Download Calculator. I don't have to do it now because I already downloaded it and I have it ready to go. So I'll open, it's an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to enable the content here. And yes, I'm going to trust them. If I can't trust them, then there are not too many people that I can trust or companies that I can trust. Here's what they're showing you. What is it that you need to, how do you need to design it? And we can go to cover. This is the same drawing that you saw before, but we still need to figure out what is the size of the book. So I'm going to go back to our main menu. And in our main menu, black ink and cream paper. Cream paper is great for fiction books, not necessarily for business books. So I'm going to choose black ink and white paper. You can have color ink, and some of my books actually do have color ink, especially the workbooks where I have worksheets and I want them to look nice and pretty. But this time we're going to use black ink and white paper. The size, I already told you that the size we're going to choose, these are kind of in general the sizes and the number of pages, the maximum page count. You can see we're talking about a lot of pages for these books. Ours is going to be 5 1/4 by 8 inches. We're limited, if this is cream paper, to 776. It's slightly thicker paper. If it's white paper, 822, whether it's black or color. So let's first choose the right size. Our size is 5 1/4 by 8 inches. I already told you that we're going to have 100 pages. So we're going to click 100 pages, and then let's look at the cover. Now we're actually getting the real sizes. So the cover, from top to bottom, it's supposed to be 8 inches. You can see that the maximum is actually 8 1/4. But inside we have only 8 inches and 5 1/4 here internally. If I move on to, I want to make sure that the barcode, we leave room for the barcode, 1/4 inch from the spine, 1/4 inch from where we're going to cut it. There is a possibility of the other 1/8 here. These are the sizes for 100 pages. This is a 5 1/4 by 8 inch trim size at 100 pages. The interesting thing is the overall size here, because that is the one number that we didn't talk about yet that's dictated by the spine. Here's something to look at the spine. The spine itself, since they may shift just a little bit, what they're saying is, look, the size of the spine really is going to be 0.1 inch. But we want to make sure that you leave a little more. I'm sorry, it is a little more. It's 5.72 millimeters. It's 0.225. And they want to make sure that you leave enough room, or 0.0625 inches on each side, in case there is a little offset when they print it, and you want to make sure that the text is still in the spine. I bought as author copies. I can't speak for the books that my customers have bought directly from Amazon, or any customer bought directly from Amazon. I can't speak to them, but I bought hundreds of my own books to deliver to customers, especially when I do workshops. And I can tell you that I had an issue with the spine or the text alignment on the spine in maybe 1, 2, 3 books over hundreds and maybe at this point even thousands of books that I ordered to give to customers. You may want to look at the manuscript as well. This is the cover. Manuscript with bleed or without bleed. I'm not going to talk about with bleed. I do that without bleed. And here it's a little simpler. All they're saying is, look, if your size is 8 inches, we want you to stay away from it a 1/4 inch. So we want you to stay about a 1/4 inch from here, at least, before you start putting text. Again, in case they cut it wrong. So instead of 8 inches total, you're looking at 7.5 inches. So 7.5 inches, that's a 1/4 inch from here, 1/4 inch from here. There's a 1/4 inch from here, and a little more in the center. It's 0.375, which is 3/8 of an inch from here. Don't put any text, don't put any image more than that line, even though they're going to cut it at exactly 8 by 5.25 or 10.5 overall. I'm going to show you how I do this. So first of all, this is the cover of my last book. But I'm going to recreate that cover from scratch. So we're going to start with a blank document. The first thing I do with the blank document is I'm going to go to the design, or I'm sorry, to the layout, and I'm going to go with the size. What is the size? Well, actually, we're going to have custom size, so I'm going to go with more paper sizes. What is the size that I need? Let's go back to the Excel spreadsheet. The Excel spreadsheet says we're designing the cover right now. For my 100-page book, I need 10.9752. Not sure I can get that accurate. I would say at this point it's probably close to 11 than it is to 10.95. We'll see what the options are. And how high? 8.25. We're going to go back to our document and we're going to define the document that is 10.9752. I'm actually writing the whole thing. Look at what happens when I go to tab. Well, actually, right now it says fine. And the height we said is going to be 8.25. Going to say OK. Some margins are outside the printable area. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to ignore. This is the size of the book. I'm going to go back to size for just 1 second and see that you see they did not really give me the 9752, but apparently they can give me 10.98. That's good enough. Amazon has not rejected me yet. What I'll do next is I'm going to create a couple of rectangles here. So we're going to go to shapes. I'm going to create the first rectangle. Just leave it at that. Shape fill, let's not fill it, have no fill. And the size of that is going to be determined once again by what I'm going to have here. So I'm going to create the one that's real size of the book. Or actually, I'm just going to create the one that's inside. And the one inside, we already know, well, 5.25 is this one by 8. So how about if I just create 5.25 by 8? Well, if you double click on it, you're going to get on the top right side here the ability to define exactly the height, which is 8 in our case, and 5.25. One thing I'll do here is I'll make sure that it is in front of text, so it's something that I can drag to wherever. And I need to make sure that I drag it such that it is, I think the best would be if I actually go to a corner and grab it from the corner. See, I go up to a certain point and it's going to tell me that I'm right there in the middle. And I am just 1/8 of an inch from the left. This is one. I'm going to do Control C and Control V. I'm getting the second one. I'm going to drag the second one to the other side of this book. Again, in the corner, I'm 1/8 from the side, maybe slightly drag it. Nope, that was the right place. This is what I need to design my cover on. This is the front and this is the back. I'm going to keep these until I put everything that I need on this design. Right now, I'm really not going to do a lot. I mean, we can put some text and so on. There is a requirement. I wonder if they said it here. They did not state here what is the size of the barcode. Somewhere in their documentation, that is something that they mentioned. And what I'll do is I'll just insert another shape, another square, and I remember that the size of their barcode is 1.2 inches high and 2 inches wide. Again, I don't need any fill, so I'm just going to put it here. And remember that I need to be at least a 1/4 inch from these sides. How do I know that I'm a 1/4 inch? Let me make it bigger. That's one trick that I have. I'm going to create a square. Let's make sure. Oh, that was almost 0.25. That's a 1/4 inch, 0.25. Now I have a 1/4 inch square. And what I'll do is I'll just put it here in the corner, make it align with the corner. And I will move this up to here. This is as far as I can move it. So now I'm really touching. Now I'm in the 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. You can just say, you know what, I'll keep a little more and I'll use this maybe for something else. I actually don't need that anymore. One more thing that I'm going to do is remember that I'm still 1/8 inch, so this is going to be how the page is going to be cut exactly, but it's not going to be where I need to my safe distance. My safe distance needs to be another 1/8 of an inch, and you can see that I have a 775 here. And even though they didn't give me what half of it is, but it has to be about another 1/8 of an inch inside. So let me create this. You know what? I'm just going to copy this. And this time I'll click on it, shape format, and the size is going to be 7.75. So I took another 1/8 inch from the top, 1/8 inch from the bottom. And instead of 525, we're going to make it 5.125, which they only give me 5.513. This is going to be where what I need to stay away from. And I'm going to create 2 of these. See, I've already kind of placed it where it needs to be. I'm going to create 2 of these right there at the center. Make sure that they align. I think that this one could deserve being up a little more. And this is accurate enough for these purposes. And so the outer line, the absolute size of the page, is the maximum that they need. And that has the extra 1/8 inch all around. The outer, let's call it box, is the real size of the book, and the inner box is how far I need to stay away from the side. If I'm going to put something here, let's say that I want to put I want the bottom half of this book to be blue. So I'm going to put a shape. I'm going to put another square. This is going to be the square. And so I already know that this is how far, this is as far as the book is going to be cut, right? Yes, but they may be off by a little, and this is why we have the extra. So if you have something that gets all the way to the end, make sure that you extend it further. So now I've extended it all the way to the end. And you know what? A nice thing to do is actually to make sure that this goes over the spine. So you're going to have that hover around the spine. So even the spine is going to be white and blue, or at least in this version. Again, this is pretty much it. This is how I design my covers. At the end, what I do here is I click on this and I do shape outline, no outline. See, now the outer box has disappeared, so it's not going to be in the cover, but it's still here. It's just not visible. So if I click on it again, it's here, shape format. I can give it whatever color I'd like. And now you can see it again. Why am I leaving it there? Because I may at the future make changes to this cover design, and if I make changes to the cover design, it instead of just bringing them back, it's good to have them here. At the end, right before I'm done, I will also make this one disappear. Again, I'll make it disappear in a way that keeps it there just in case at the future I need to see it. This is how I designed the cover. The last thing I want to do is I want to save it as Acrobat. Just in case you didn't know how to write text sideways, I'm going to put another shape here. We're just going to put a text box, and I'm just going to call it Yoram. And for that, we're going to make sure that there is nothing in between, so there's no background or anything, and you can just cover it, rotate it, make sure that you rotate it to the right size. And you know what? Very carefully, I would actually zoom in. Very carefully, I would move this to where I feel that it is in the center. Somehow it's not very excited about doing this. Now it is. This feels like the center. If you got it too big, they will tell you that it's too big and it will fail their requirements. Interestingly enough, as I go down, I see that this square is not necessarily getting all the way there. Okay, when it's time to save this, before I upload it, what I want to do is, we typically want to just do File, Save As, and you know that one of the options is going to be, oh, first of all, we need to save it at first time. I didn't even save it first time. So we're going to save it, and we're going to save it in, let's see which directory. I'll save it in the DIY book KDP directory. We're going to call it cover template. And this is a Word document at this point. So we saved it as a Word document. This was the first time we saved it. Now I can save it. They will not accept doc. As far as I know, they would not accept Word document for cover. But what I can do is need to save it as PDF. So I can go down here and click on PDF. Don't do that. The reason not to do that is because PDF is a proprietary protocol or specification for Adobe, created by the Adobe Acrobat. One thing that they allow other pieces of software, such as Word, is to save in this format, but they do limit your resolution. So if I went down to options here in Word, and I looked at the save, what I will see here is, let's find resolution. Maybe it's under advanced. Yes. One important thing is, do not compress images in file. Do that, because otherwise when you save, it may actually compress it, and you're going to find that the images have changed. 220. Actually, it looks like I can save it with 330. What I'm not sure is if the format for PDF is here, but I can tell you from my experience that PDF will not, the PDF version of Word or Microsoft would not allow you to save at the highest resolution. So while here in options, I will make sure under advanced that I keep it at do not compress it, and I'll just call it high fidelity. I'm going to assume that that's better. Save it this way. So now I'm saving it that way. I have the Adobe Creative Cloud platform, or at least the Acrobat. And what you want to do is save it through the Acrobat add-on. And under preferences, I'm going to make sure that it's high quality print. There are different specifications. There's standard. You may want to have the smallest file size, but that comes at the expense of resolution. I'm going to keep it at high quality print, okay, and then I'm going to create PDF, and I'm creating this PDF. I'll keep that in the same directory that I put the rest. I'm going to save. And the next thing is I'm going to bring the PDF screen, this is the Adobe screen, and you can see that this is ready to be uploaded. Obviously, we don't have anything here in this book yet, but this is how I create a cover based on the specifications that I got from Amazon KDP. In other videos, I'm going to show you how to do the rest of the book, self-publishing. I recorded this video for you, based on what currently exists and what I know right now. But things change, new technology, new products, new software versions, new ideas that I get, some of them from viewers like you. If you want to be informed when I release new videos with new or updated content, subscribe to this channel and get notified when I release them. Oh, and you can also like this video. Also, check out my resources for speakers like you who want to do things yourself at thediyspeaker.com.